Hello everyone, welcome back to Writing 3. In this lesson, we'll continue with the lesson in the Mindset book. In Unit 5, we are going to take a look at how we can interpret the information presented in a table or in a bar chart. First thing first, let's take a look at exercise number 3 in here. This is a table, right? What is this table about? You can read the information right here and you will know. This table is about the number of deep mines producing coal in the UK between 1930 and 2015. Can you take a look at this table and then answer the two questions here? I'll give you a minute to take a look. Alright, so what do you think is a general trend here? If you look at the year, you see it started from more than 3,000, right? And then it's ended only like around 5. So the general trend is the decline, right? The declines in the number of mines. How about the years or the time periods that you would focus on as the most salient? I think that there are several periods that we can consider that the most salient. The first one is from 1913 to 1943. In 1913, there was about 3,024 miles, but then the number declined to only like around 1,690, right? So the number is almost halved. The next period is from 1963 to 1983. Notice that for 1963 we have around 943. That means it's still nearly 1,000, right? However, until 1983 there's only like nearly 200 left, 170, right? And the last period is from 2003 until 2015. It down a very few miles left, right? Like the number of 20 and 5. Do you have the same numbers? If you agree with my ideas, then I think good job, you did a good job. Alright, so if you were to write a short essay to talk about this table, what should you write? Do you remember what did we talk about? What did we learn in the previous lessons? Yes, we should write the intro first, right? In the intro, you should summarize the basic information of the table, right? By paraphrase this sentence right here. And then, after the intro, what should you do? Yes, you should write the overview, right? Question number 1 right here already help you with the overview. That is the general trend of the table. It is a decline, right? And how about for the bodies? For the bodies, you need to write about the specific numbers and include some data. Question number 2 right here will help you. So let's take a look at the sample answer. So this sample answer here, it also starts with the intro, and obviously there's a decline. It also include a general idea, the overview here. And still it have a conclusion here. The body paragraph will be about the details. In 1913, there were 3,000. So for the first paragraph here, can you see the period? It started from 1913 to 1963, right? And the second paragraph is 1980 to the last one in 2000. Or actually it's 2015, right? When we only have 5 months left. Alright, so this is what the sample answer looked like. In the previous lessons, we've talked about one of the criteria that your writing is marked on, task achievement. Today, in this lesson, we're going to take a look at the next criteria, coherence and cohesion. If you have a look at exercise number 5 in here, you will see a feedback from a teacher on coherence and cohesion in the candidate answer in exercise number 4. So let's take a look at the comments together. So the first thing first, the teacher comments about the order of information. She or he say that this is appropriate, and the writer indicates ability to divide the information into paragraphs, which is good. However, there are some inappropriate use of linga. First thing first, in the first paragraph, it say that it is obviously. So obviously indicates that everyone should know this information, and I don't think that this is a good linga for you to use in task 1. So it would be better if you change it into phrases like the clear trend in the figure is that it shows that you simply interpret the data and the information. Obviously, it's more like you try to also talk about the information and how easy it is to see. So I think that you might need to avoid using that. For number 2, nevertheless, it's not really showing a contrast here because you're trying to give an example. So instead you should say like for example or for instance. For number 3, the word surprisingly have the opinion data in this. Do you remember that you shouldn't like talk about your feelings, your assumptions in this task? You simply try to interpret the data objectively, right? So the better phrase should be it is striking that, or you can say it is noticeable that. Alright, it is fine as well, but surprisingly, not really. And for the last one, number 4, at last, it should be changed into something more specific, like by the end of the period song in 2015. So I hope that after this exercise, you would pay more attention to the use of transition and linker. Some students forget to use the linkers when they write. However, there's also some other type of student who like overuse the linkers or use it in the wrong way. So if it is overused or it is used in the wrong way or inappropriately like this, it will have the counter effect. So please pay more attention to that. This is a sample from another candidate, but also write about the same table. However, this sample answer will earn a much better coherence and cohesion score. Do you understand why? Let's find out together. Can you please find all the Discord markers that perform the function listed on the next page? I'll give you a minute to take a look. Alright, so shall we take a look at the answer together? For number 1 in here, in order to emphasize or to exemplify an idea or the point, there are several ways that you can say it. To emphasize, you can say in fact, or one of the most striking features of this table is. And to give an example, to exemplify, you can say to give a specific example. For number 2, to provide an overview of the evidence, you can say the overall trend is clearly something, or the overall trend is. To show a contrast with the previous information, then you can say however, right? To introduce the key periods in the data, you can use the time, like in the 100-year period. Notice here that this is the way that you can turn the noun into adjective. To you use 100 and then dash here and then the year without the s. And between the year and the year, also you can say by the end of the given time frame, in the early decades of, or by the middle of, or by the turn of the 21st century. So pay more attention to the way that you use these Discord markers in your next piece of writing. Now, in order to practice these discourse markers or transition, let's take a look at exercise number 8. This is a sample answer which summarize report the data in exercise number 7. Some of the discourse markers have been removed or gone missing. Can you fill in the gaps with the word from the box right here? I will wait for you. Alright, have you finished? Let's check the answer together. So for number one, it should be for the purposes of this data set. The world is divided into 7 regions, right? For number 2, you should say what stand out is. What stands out, that means what is most noticeable or what is most striking. That means that you want to emphasize on this information. This is the most striking one, noticeable one. For number 3, Greater China and Europe lead the way in terms of, in the criteria of, remember, in terms of, we need to have at here. And then for number 5, we should say respectively. Again, this is a very useful discourse markers that you can use in data report. Sometimes you can combine the two data here together and you say respectively. That means in the same order. So you know that 26% here is for China and 25% here is for Europe. Number 5, you can say by contrast to show the contrast, right? Remember we have comma here. And by contrast stands at the beginning of the sentence. For number 6, you can say turning to or turning next to, okay? For number 7, whereas, okay? Whereas, and this is the main clause. Whereas North America can boast is a very nice word here. That means it's proudly show off something. And then South America manufactures just 4% of this type. Finally, we should say moving on to Japan and Korea. And although also we want to show contrasting informations, right? How about your answers? Do you agree with me? If yes, then I think that we're good on this. Thank you.